Today's case involving Kodak Black is once again putting him at the center of controversy, but this time it's not just about the charges, and what he argued in court has sparked a major debate. To understand where this moment comes from, we need to look back. Kodak Black's legal history goes back years, long before this latest court appearance. Over time, he has faced multiple arrests and legal issues ranging from probation violations to weapons charges and other criminal allegations. These repeated cases created a pattern that followed him throughout his rise in the music industry. Even as his popularity grew, so did scrutiny from the legal system. For many fans, it became a frustrating cycle. Every comeback seemed to be followed by another courtroom headline. Outside the courtroom, Kodak's behavior has also been widely discussed in the media and online. There have been public moments where fans and commentators express concern about his conduct, appearance, and decision-making in certain situations. Some of these moments fueled speculation about substance use or instability, though not all claims were confirmed or officially detailed in court records. Still, the concern from both fans and figures in the music industry has remained consistent. Whether his environment, pressures, or personal struggles are affecting his judgment and long-term stability. Industry voices have occasionally expressed hope that he would find structure and support to avoid repeating the same legal patterns. As his legal troubles continued over the years, reactions from the hip-hop community were mixed. Some artists defended him, pointing to systemic issues and the challenges young stars face after sudden fame. Others were more critical, arguing that repeated incidents were damaging both his career and public trust. Meanwhile, fans remained split, some seeing him as misunderstood, others seeing a talent repeatedly derailed by avoidable decisions. Now, in his latest court appearance, Kodak Black is facing a different kind of attention. This time, the issue isn't just the charges themselves, but his legal argument regarding bail conditions. According to court discussions, his legal team raised concerns about how bail is being calculated, specifically arguing that it should not be determined based on his income level or celebrity status. In other words, they are challenging the idea that being wealthy or famous automatically increases the financial burden required for release. And this is where things become unusual. In what is being described as an inedit or unprecedented angle in the case, his request raises a broader legal question. Should the justice system treat a celebrity differently when it comes to bail calculations? Or should fame be completely irrelevant? Supporters of the argument say bail should only reflect the legal risk, not public image or financial visibility. Critics, however, argue that high-profile defendants naturally have different circumstances and risks that courts often consider. Whatever the outcome, this case is now being watched not just as another chapter in Kodak Black's legal history, but as a potential example that could influence how bail is discussed in celebrity cases moving forward. Whether you see it as fair, controversial, or long overdue, one thing is certain: Kodak Black's legal journey continues to blur the line between celebrity culture and the justice system. And this latest argument might end up being one of the most debated moments of his career, not for what happened outside the courtroom, but for what was argued inside.
Your Honor, as both attorneys said, they're not arguing PC, and PC has already been found. The schedule for trafficking is $50,000. PC has been found for a trafficking, so the state would ask that you give a bond of $50,000. The state would actually ask that you increase the bond, as the defendant is a professional rapper. As the counsel has indicated, he flew in from California. He is also, when you do a search, listed as a Haitian American. He does not have any ties to Orlando. He's from Pompano Beach, but again, he flew in from California. So state would not only ask that you have the bond at $50,000 in light of his occupation and lack of ties to Orlando, that it actually be increased, and one of the conditions be that he surrender his passport.
If I can just address that very quickly, Judge. He is a proud Haitian American, but he is an American. He has a U.S. passport. He doesn't have any plans on leaving the country. I mean, we've faced cases that are 10 times this case, and I've won, by the way. But we'll put that in another bucket. But the fact that he's a rapper doesn't give you a legal purpose to raise the bond. So I would still ask for a $10,000 bond, Judge.
All right, well, I appreciate all the argument. Again, Mr. Capri, you're charged with trafficking in methamphetamine or MDMA, more than 10 grams, less than 200 grams. That is a first-degree felony. Again, you are entitled to a bond, so I am going to give you a bond. I have considered the strength of the case as well as everything that was set forth in the arrest affidavit. I understand the arguments presented by your counsel. I think one of the things that was left out was, while you weren't necessarily claiming ownership of the bag, you were requesting that the funds within the bag be turned over to you. So there at least is some tie, seems like, to the court, to that bag. Nonetheless, I think in terms of bond, I am going to slightly increase the bond. I think based upon your, not the fact that you're a rapper, I think that has no binding, but the other factors that the court considered is your prior criminal history, including 12 prior felony convictions, 2 misdemeanor convictions, 1 failure to appear. That was quite some time ago, so I'm not giving a ton of weight to the failure to appear, but I think an appropriate bond in this case would be $75,000, so that's going to be what the court sets the bond at. As conditions of your bond, I am going to order that you not return to the scene of the offense, which is 910 Fairvilla Road, Orlando, Florida, which is the Children's Safety Village. Additionally, I am going to order that you not have any contact with any of the co-defendants in your case, so specifically Mr. Avon Joseph and Mr. James Twitty. Additionally, you are not to possess or consume any drugs or controlled substances without a valid prescription. Additionally, this should go without saying because you are already a felon, but you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Additionally, I am going to order that you not have contact with any of the other witnesses in the case, so specifically Gisgard Cantave, Arquita McDougald, Dion Rogers, and Mazrick Senmelis. Aside from that, I believe those are all the conditions that I think would be appropriate in this particular case. Obviously, if you all are seeking to have the bond modified or reduced, you can file the appropriate motion with the assigned judge, and I'm sure they'll get you in the docket to address that for you. I'm also not going to order that you surrender your passport. I don't deem you to be a flight risk. Again, you only have 1 prior failure to appear dating over 10 years ago. So, Mr. Cohen?
Yes, Judge, this is one thing. One of those individuals is his brother, so I don't know how you don't have contact with your brother.
Which one?
Masnick. And then the other ones, I think there's some cousins involved in there. One of them is his manager. One of them is his road guy. So
which one's the co-defendant?
It's not a co-defendant. You said no contact with the witnesses.
Right, but before that, I said Avon Joseph and James Twitty.
Yeah, I don't mind about that. That's fine.
Okay.
But there's the other individuals that had nothing to do with this case that were just on the scene. One of them is his brother, Masnick.
Okay.
And then I believe one of them is I think 2 are security and 1, 2 are his security.
All right, which 2?
Which 2 are those? Cantave and Dion.
All right, so I will permit you to have contact with your team, so your security, and so that's Cantave, Rogers, and Senmelis. You can have contact with them, so I'll strike the conditional.